I got an email from Taylor, but I got a bunch of emails on this question, which is, how do I find a good therapist? What are the red flags that I should look for? I typed up some notes here, just thinking through what people should look for in a counselor, why counseling, all that. So I want to run through a couple of these real quick. And if you have more questions about seeing a counselor, am I seeing the right one? What is the best modality? What are things you like? All that kind of stuff. Shoot me an email at askjohn@ramseysolutions.com, and I'll continue to dig into this. One of my dreams here that we're working on as we speak is building a network of preferred counselors throughout the country, both in person and digital and via like Zoom or Skype. And so I want to know what you're thinking about counselors, good experiences, bad experiences. Let me know everything you've experienced with counseling. Again, at askjohn@ramseysolutions.com. Just put in the headline, experience with counselors or questions about therapists. That would help us as we begin to build out this network. So here's the deal. What is counseling? At the end of the day, counseling is just a professional helping relationship. That's it. Like you go see a plumber for professional help with plumbing, a counselor or a therapist or a psychologist. Used to be psychiatrists. Most psychiatrists now are medicine dispensers. There are still some great ones left there, but they are professional helpers, marriage and family therapists, clinical social workers. A good counselor is not your friend. They are not your buddy. They are not a future romantic partner, and their job is not always to make you feel good. Hear me say that. Counseling will be uncomfortable if it's done right. It will challenge you if it's done right. A counselor's job is to walk alongside you and help gently point you to other directions that you may not have considered walking in, because whatever's not working in your life could be better on the other side of a different road, of a different avenue, on a different bridge, whatever that may look like. They help you see challenges that you might have missed or that you are avoiding. Another thing a counselor does, they reflect back to you the way they experience you in a session. This is often how you interact with the outside world. One of my favorite therapy instructors ever is Irvin Yalom, and he talks about everything in a session is data. And so if I find myself as a counselor after the session 3 and you start talking and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is getting boring. That's an important moment for a therapist to reflect back. Do you bore the people in your life? Is it hard for people to be around you? Do they get frustrated with you because you talk low and low energy and you kind of are Eeyore, you bring a room down, right? So everything is data. So a counselor is going to reflect back to you. Or do you bring sexual energy to everything? Do you bring this fake excitement to everything? Do you talk so much? A counselor is going to reflect back to you the way they experience you in a session. And that's going to lead me to the next thing. They should then teach you new skills on how to relate to the outside world. Because every challenge you have, mental health challenges, personal challenges, personal development issues, problems at work, problems with bosses, come back to broken or hurting or fractured relationships. And so a good counselor is going to teach you how to interact in relationship, teach you how to interact with the outside world as a series of steps. A counselor should also call you on your BS when they're teaching you these skills, right? They should tell you that's not factual. That's not how that works. You should have a good enough rapport that you trust them enough to be honest with you. If you cannot hear honest feedback, let your counselor know that, and they'll work with you. I subscribe to Terry Real's idea. He's one of the most extraordinary relationship therapists in the world, that a counselor should not always be neutral. They should tell you the truth. If you go in with a couple, the counselor should be able to say, hey, husband, you're being an idiot right now. Hey, wife, you are using a one-down position to use your power to drag down this whole relationship into a landmines, right? I do think there's moments when counselors should not be neutral, and they should tell you the truth and lean in against you if they need to. Here's some important things about counseling. Go 3 or 4 sessions before you bail. Don't just go 1 and be like, I don't like them, they're weird, they're annoying. Don't go 2 and say, nothing's happening yet. Don't just stop going. Session 3 and 4 is often when things start to turn, when things start to click. When should you go to counseling? I recommend that everyone can benefit from a neutral third party in their life. I just think they can. A mentor, a guide, someone that you totally trust who will help you, someone you can be totally vulnerable with. This could be a counselor, a mentor, a support group. like I said, counselors are professionals, right? If I've got a plumbing issue, I've got some buddies that know how to do some minor plumbing. They can come help me put in a sprinkler line or something. If I need to fix my sewer main, I'm going to call a professional. I don't want to deal with it. I'm going to pay the money. I'm going to get the warranty on it. That's when I'm talking about going to see a counselor. If you're struggling with like, hey, my wife and I had a fight last night, man, call somebody that you trust. Go have coffee. I'll process it out. And if they're a trustworthy, good friend that you can be vulnerable with, man, have that conversation. If it's deeper than that, call a professional. One of my mentors, Dr. Aretha Marbley and Dr. Brett Hendricks, two important people in my life, said that most people wait to go to counseling until there's a crisis. Don't wait until a house is on fire before you go check things out. One of them suggested most people will wait to go to counseling until there's a crisis is similar to waiting till you have the flu to start a workout program, right? That's the worst time. If things are going pretty good, that's a good time when you're healthy, you're feeling right. Go see somebody then, right? I think everyone thinking about getting married or having a long-term partnership with somebody should engage in counseling, just having somebody else talk about questions that you haven't even thought about yet. If you have major trauma that you're having trouble processing, go see somebody. Not everyone who has a tragedy needs a therapist. I hear that all the time. Hey, my son or daughter had somebody die in their classroom in middle school. I need to get them to a counselor, right? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. One of the rules of trauma response is most people don't need you most of the time when they're talking about a crisis responder or a therapist. But sometimes they do. If you find yourself unable to sleep, unable to grieve, you find yourself withdrawing and alone, you realize that Netflix is you're much more likely to hang out with Netflix than you are with the people that you love. A counselor could be a great blessing there. Things to watch out for. You should not be in counseling forever. A counselor's job is to walk alongside you, help you, and send you on your way. Both folks that I have met with for any length of time, the first thing they told me in the session was, my job is to work myself out of a job with you. And that's how I knew I got the right person. I got the right person there. I am a big believer, outside of you have to do this for insurance purposes, and that's a whole other conversation we can have someday. I don't like diagnosis in the first session. They don't know you. They haven't experienced you. I don't even like them in the first few sessions because so what presents as a quote-unquote diagnosis tends to be an ecosystem issue. It tends to be a giant process issue. Outside of a very few like bipolar disorder or schizophrenia or major depressive disorder, some of these big ones. If they are a jerk, walk out the door. Counseling is about the relationship, period, right? If you aren't gelling after 3 or 4 sessions, let them know, hey, this relationship isn't working for me. They should have big boy, girl in pants and say, cool, thank you for letting me know, and then go find somebody else, right? A trained therapist should not ask you to dig into the details of your trauma in the first session either. You should work into that over several sessions after you two have discussed a safety plan, how you will cope, etc. Last thing is, where do you find a counselor? They're everywhere. They're online. Local college towns have interns. Ask a friend. Churches often have free counselors. Community counseling centers have free or low-cost individual family counseling. And then there's just websites in your local community. There are referrals for Yelp. And counselors are everywhere, particularly since COVID. Since COVID launched, there have been way more counselors who put their practices online and really have people in rural communities can see therapists now. It's just kind of spread out. So that's some thoughts on counseling, how to find a therapist, what's a good therapist, when to leave therapy. If you've got more questions, again, email me at askjohn@ramseysolutions.com. I always want to live out of the things that happen to me and the things I've experienced. I always want there to be some sort of peaceful, Nirvana-esque path forward. I was inspired by the veterans that I've worked with for the last 20 years. When they tell me I often find starting from a sense of obligation is okay. When they would say, no, so-and-so died, I have a responsibility to laugh and live for 2 now, man. Because if Correct. I don't, it's dismissing. And I have a responsibility to over-laugh, over-adventure, over-treat people well because of what happened to me when I was a kid. I don't know that that's healthy long-term, but I think sometimes obligation, I have a responsibility to go find joy because of what happened to me. as good jet fuel to get me personally off the mat.
Well, let's just connect that as where we just were. As one side, I have to live for two. On the other side, I work with veterans who also will say to me, you don't understand. This pain that I carry forever is a badge of honor. And this is my connection to them, is the pain. And I'll say, I see that, and I understand that, and it's been a while that you've been in this pain. What would happen if you released that pain? And I would lose a connection. And I would go, I don't think so. When you release that pain, you would stay connected, but you would be connected only in love. And I can tell you that pain that you think is a badge of honor, love is a stronger badge. And you can wear their love. So it is between back to the disloyalty and I'm not going to live to I'm living for both. I mean, find a place within there, but not be an extreme of either.
Well, that reminds me of the old, it's a cliche now, but it's true. You get to choose your hard. Do you want to choose hard and carry pain around forever? Or do you want to choose hard and figure out ways to laugh? And I always tell folks, when you're faced with that, find the hard or choose the hard that on the other side of it gives you the best opportunity for joy, right?
And you know, one of the things that you mentioned is that little person in us that we're always working on healing and going back to. One of the keys for me that was different is because that is that little wounded self. And one of the things I see so many times is people go, I'm so screwed up. You know, my abandonment comes up every time I'm in a new relationship. My this comes up, and all that. My fears, I was abused. I think I don't trust, all that. People are going to die on me, whatever that flavor is that comes up. Why am I so screwed up? I always think about, what if we didn't see it as you're so screwed up? But what if it was that little child within you knocking? Don't forget about me. I still need some healing. I still need some healing. So on one hand, I think we have to recognize that, you know, inner child. There was a John Bradshaw comic strip I'll never forget, that it said, there's this guy, John Bradshaw, that says we all have these, it's two bears talking in the woods. The two bears are talking, there's this guy, John Bradshaw here. He talks about our inner child and we got to nourish that inner child. And the other bear says, it's very interesting, but let's eat him. You know, it's sort of like that. But here's the other piece I think people don't realize. You talk about that inner child in you, or I talk about that inner child in me. It's not just about trying to heal those wounds, and they get revealed in our grief.
Sure.
Can we bring them with us? Like, it's cool for me, but I got to tell you, the little David in me is sitting here with you today.
Yes.
I want him to come to these good moments. I don't want him to be, isn't it shooting and there was abuse. I want him, like, I hope that, like, John and little Dave, like both little John and little, they're getting to be in this moment with each other and enjoying this moment with us, and that we bring them forward. And here's the thing. I don't want, like, how many people leave that child in the abuse, in the death? Like, bring them with you.
So that's probably, in the 1,000 things I've learned from you, that's probably one of the top 3 things that has been what I would tell you is a direct gift, and something I find myself saying often now. And when somebody, I just recently was sitting somebody, just the worst of the worst, and I made them look me in the eye, and I put my hand on the back of their neck just to be still. And I said, they're not hurting anymore. They're not hurting right now. How often do we get locked into that child who got hit too hard, that child who got sexually abused, that there was a car wreck, and we imagined that recognition, that flash of recognition and the hit and what was pain. We trap either ourselves, we trap our loved ones, we trap the nameless people we see on the news. we trap them in that moment. And there's something so profound about saying, hey, they're not hurting right now.
Yeah, they're not in that moment anymore. I understand your loved one was murdered, how it's as horrific as it gets, and they're not being murdered today. And so many times...
That's such an exhale.
And I'll tell you, but the thing is, so many times, especially with the therapists I train, we talk about and coaches, everyone's like, let's bring our clients out of the traumatic moment into the now. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, but we can't leave our loved ones in the trauma.
Right.
We got to bring them into the now. They're no longer in the car wreck. Our inner child's no longer getting abused.
Yes.
We got to move everyone into the now. When we keep anyone in the trauma, and all grief does not have trauma, but all trauma has grief.
There you go. Yeah. And yeah, it's like feelings. It's become this thing that it's not, right? On both sides of this equation. And I think trauma is that same thing. Trauma is very, very real. And it's a part of you. And every uncomfortable feeling is not trauma.
Right.
And every dumb thing your parents said is not trauma. Right. It's a weird mix. I'm trying to tell people to own and recognize their trauma. And also, that's not trauma too, right? It's a both and.
And it is that. It's like on one hand, no one else gets to define.
That's it.
Your trauma.
That's right.
Two people can go through the same thing and one is traumatized, the other's not. And there's some underlying wound if every day in life you are re-traumatized by something that's happened.
Correct.
Why are you wearing black? Do you not know how traumatizing that is? I mean, and one of the things in our world now is we so want to outsource our healing. We want to go, everyone's got to really give me trauma warnings. We got to understand.
It's y'all's job.
It's y'all's job
yeah.
to heal me inside. And it's interesting when people say to me, where do we begin? I don't know where to begin. I'll go, what triggers you? What activates you? That's a map to your grief and trauma.
Yeah.
And it's a map to your healing.
Yep.
Don't dismiss that. That's the map we're looking for you to get through this.
I've often, not often, always, healing's on the other side of that. It's not around it, right?
Right.
And often I'll tell people, I know it looks daunting. I'll go with you. I'll walk with you.
Right.
Or at least walk until you can be with the next person and with the next person. Right. But if you want peace, you got to go to the other side of that.
Right.
Okay, so I want to shift gears. I just want to stay here for a while, but I want to talk to some practical things.
Yes.
Okay. I just need to double click on something before we do that. I want to go back to just what you just said, because I can't let that slide with our listeners. Me telling somebody that your healing starts here, and it's you getting somebody, it's you choosing to walk towards this thing. That is the empowerment. That's somebody looking, I believe in you, not, and I've been guilty of this, especially at the university level, spending all of my time trying to clear the deck for everybody so that they can go through their world with no discomfort. That is disempowering. That is me looking at you saying, I don't believe in you. Let me go clear it for you. Instead of saying, no, I believe in you. Let's wrap skills and support so that we can go together. We can go to the other side of that. That's empowerment.
It's the good news and the bad news.
That's right.
And, the bad news is it's actually in you. Mm-hmm. The good news is that's where you can get to it. Right. Oh my gosh, I don't need to talk to the abuser.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't need to get my healing from them. I don't need to get it from my ex. I don't need my loved one who died. It's in me. Oh, well, I have access to me. How lucky am I? It turns out the issue is where I can get it.
Yeah.
And we talked about disloyalty. I want to just unpack healing for a moment, because there's some people who go, I want healing. And I'm like it's a bad word.
Yeah.
Here's people think there's something about healing means, oh, I'm going to forget them. I'm going to dismiss the trauma that happened. I'm going to minimize it. To me, healing means the events or the event no longer controls me. I don't make decisions anymore from my abandonment. I don't have relationships from my prior losses. I can't connect with you because we could die. We could all lose. I mean, I am now in reality and in freedom to feel, do whatever I want and write a different future without using the pen of all those losses or traumas.
My goodness. So how do we, and I'm laughing because it just sounds like such a cruel question. How do we show up with the right amount of compassion and the right amount of, I don't even have a word for it, for folks who I would call pain collectors or injustice collectors, or I just have to, like, my identity is how much I hurt.
Right.
And they're just, we all have a family member. Okay. We all have people in our local church, but that I end up feeling like I don't want to even go, I'm going to take a different path out of my church building because I don't want to walk past.
Right.
Right. How do we provide grace and empathy and compassion and also...
So there was a therapist that I met years ago who said to me, every client I meet leaves a little pain in my office. And I went, oh, you're not going to make it. Oh, no, you can't be a pain collector. Oh, no. This is, I would look at some other gigs. This is not for you if you're going to collect pain. So here's the thing. Let's talk about which grief is the worst. People always want to know, which is the worst grief? Is it the sexual abuse that ruins, it feels like your sex life for the rest of your life? Is it the trauma of your childhood? Is it a divorce where they didn't die, they're like rejecting you every day on this planet? Is it the betrayal that you can no longer trust? Is it the person dying? Is it a murder? Is it a child's death? I always say, the worst loss is yours. It's yours. I can never know your losses, your griefs. I can't know it. I can only know my own. Now, I work with people and work very hard to find security in my grief. So many times, I need you to honor my grief and my pain and my loss. I always say, what if you're the one that needs to get it? What if, I can't make John understand what I've been through? I mean, look, I could explain it. You could, what if I'm the one that needs to get how brutal this was, and I need to sit with it and heal it? What if I forget trying to get John and Sue and Martha to get it? What if I get it? So there's that piece. The other piece is whenever and this is like a really important piece for therapists and coaches and all that, whenever you have that person, like in the grief group, who goes, really? Your spouse died a year after you were married? Oh, I lost my spouse at 40 years. That's real grief. Right. So whenever anyone goes, how dare them? How dare, they're really saying, you have gotten too much grief attention and I haven't gotten enough. So the advanced work is to go, the person who's comparing is really telling us they haven't gotten enough support. Yeah. Now, we're coming back to feelings. Yeah. In my online group, I have a grief group for the death of a person, Tender Hearts. In that group, sometimes we have what's called a check-in. And I'll go, what are you feeling? And there's people who will be telling their stories, and I'll go, have you had a chance to tell this story? And some people are like, no one lets me tell this story. I'll go, but we want to hear it. Please continue. And there's other people who go, yes, I've told this story 1,000 times and it's never enough. It's because the feelings didn't get witnessed, not the story.
Yeah.
There's a feeling that didn't get witnessed. So there is this one place, getting back to your question of, I need to see your pain. Your grief, your pain, it needs to be witnessed. On the other hand, I also see you more than your pain. I know you feel victimized, and there is more to your story than that. I want to remind you of your greatness and see your pain.
Yeah.
And so that's the challenge when we see people who are like, it is nothing. And I'll tell you, one of the things I start with in this workbook is having people tell their stories.
Yep. Yeah.
And to see and bring awareness, because I have them tell it different ways. How do you tell your story? Do you tell it? Because listen, in my life, I have told my story when I was young. I was like, yeah, there was a shooting. My mom died. It was no big deal. Like, I wanted to be like everyone else. I minimized my story. Then there was a time where like, I'm screwed up. This is the story of someone who's screwed up. I'm like a victim. Then I was like, I'm a victor. I'm a victor of my story.
Yeah.
You know, there's a part of me that like when my son died, my younger son, are you kidding? Why? Why me?
Yeah.
Like really have not, like I not had enough grief? Why me? And then there was another story I found of like, yeah, that's painful. And why not you? Did you think the grief expert gets to only have grief in it? Did you think, you know, why not you? So how we tell our stories is really a key.
Let's go out to Gretchen in Pittsburgh. What's up, Gretchen?
Hi, Dr. John. This is cool hearing you through my phone. I listen to you all the time on YouTube.
It's cool hearing you through my phone. Very cool. What's up?
So my question for you is, oh gosh, how do I say this? I really...
Hey, Gretchen, we are way past that on this show. Just say whatever.
I know. But it's always more nerve-wracking once with you. So I really do not like sex.
Okay.
I think the word I use is like, I resent it. I resent sex as a whole. Partially just, I think it's due to a lot of things. For me, it feels very mandatory. I also just have this feeling like I genuinely don't need it. I don't want it. And it's causing issues because I know my husband needs it.
I was going to say, are you married?
I am married.
Okay.
I've been married for about 15 months. And I did not have sex before marriage. I was a virgin when I got married. And we kind of didn't anticipate any issues in this regard because, granted, even in the confines of trying to remain a virgin before marriage, you know, you make out and you feel a passionate connection towards one another. And then I got married and it felt like it went away. And now it's to the point where I have absolutely no interest in having sex with my husband at all.
Yeah.
None. And I'm not 100% sure why. I could probably come up with a list of possible reasons, but I'm kind of at a point where I don't really know what to do about it because I know while I may not need it, I know he needs it. And it's getting very challenging for me because I'm just kind of in this, please don't touch me. I don't want to be touched. I don't feel like this doing this today. And even on the times that I kind of muster up enough to have sex with my husband, I mean, I enjoy it once I get there, but getting there is like very hard for me.
Yeah.
And I'm at a point where I don't really know what to do about it. And I want to fix it because I want to have sex.
Of course.
But I don't.
Excellent. Well, number one, thank you for saying that out loud. I imagine you're not telling a whole bunch of people that. Is that fair?
No, I think I've mentioned it to 2 girlfriends.
Okay.
One agreed with me, and one was like, "What are you talking about?"
Okay. I'm going to run through. So, number one, I want you to know you are absolutely not crazy. You're not alone. Okay. And not alone to the tune of millions. Okay. So, you're not nuts. Cool.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm going to run through a series of questions that I always ask folks in this situation. Okay.
Yes.
But before I do that, I want to at first acknowledge it happens a lot for people who choose to remain a virgin till they're married, is that sex becomes, to use religious imagery, becomes an idol. It becomes a thing that is going to solve and fix all things. And it's going to be, like you probably heard it said in your religious organization, your bodies will just know what to do, and it will just be this syncing up and this magic whatever. And I just don't think that's accurate.
I'll agree.
And so there's this powerful pressure put on it. And not only that, as a woman, you have this performance pressure and this Instagram world pressure that you've got to compete with, fill in the blanks, all those things. You and your husband how old are you?
I'm 25.
Yeah. So I was just talking about this earlier on in the show. Y'all both were raised in a culture, whether y'all participated or not, that was raised entirely by pornography. And so either the images or this is what it's supposed to look like. And we're all supposed to be screaming and yelling and having chaos, and it's supposed to be fun and exciting. And the wallpaper is just supposed to fall off the walls on its own and the house catches on fire. That's the world that you've been handed. This is what it's supposed to look like. And there's no playbook for the weird, awkward, what are you do that is real sex, especially as a couple's getting to know each other. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so everything feels like failure or screwing up. I don't like this. And depending on our bodies, and this is about experience, this is about genetics, this is about a whole cascade of things. Some bodies respond to failure and to this isn't working right, and this wasn't what my picture was. They respond to that by running head first into that burning building. They're firemen and women. They run straight in. I'm going to solve this problem. Let's keep working on it. And other people get out of the building. They shut the thing down. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to start this before I ask you questions. Like, start by acknowledging, man, you guys have built a hell of pressure to live up to. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So number one, do you have any abuse in your past?
No.
Okay. None that you can think of, or just no? All good.
I guess it depends on the context. Sexual abuse, no. Physical abuse, no. My dad's a little rough around the edges, and
Okay.
I think there's some emotional trauma that comes with that, but I wouldn't consider it abuse.
Okay.
So it depends on your definition.
Okay. Are you on any sort of birth control?
No.
No? Just rocking and
No.
rolling?
Yeah, I learned how to natural family plan. And when doing a lot of my research, I just determined that was the best way to go. And so
Okay.
far, I've had no issues.
Okay. And I'm smiling every time someone's like, nah, dude, we're just doing it natural. Those are always my friends that ended up with their kids first. But you do you. You do you. Okay, so, and the reason I asked that is before I did anything, I would go see my doctor about hormones.
Mhm.
Okay. 100% before you do anything else. Before you have any more conversations, before you go see a counselor, I would have you go get your hormones checked. The hormone regulation is all over the place. And depending on what rabbit hole you go down, it can be diet related, it can be, experience related, it can be genetic. Who cares? It just is. So I would go have all of those things checked. Have you done that?
I have not.
Okay.
So that's a good idea.
Okay, I would do that. Third, is your husband, you love him, I know that. Is he a jerk or a bully or why won't you do this or I want this?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. That has to stop. because
I know.
your body's trying to protect you.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was what the answer to this was going to be.
Tell me about him.
So we met. I'm actually originally from Buffalo. I met him when I moved to Pittsburgh after I graduated from college, and he is someone who has an addictive personality.
Mm-hmm.
He's also incredibly particular, and it leads to just like endless nitpicking about the most ridiculously little things. Some of it seems unnecessary a lot of the times. I deal with it. I have a pretty thick skin, so, I kind of let it roll off my back. I think the problem is that it doesn't really roll on my back.
Nope.
And then it manifests in other ways like this.
Bessel van der Kolk wrote the book, and the title of the book is The Body Keeps the Score.
Yeah.
You can be tough Buffalo gal all day long. And Buffalo gals are tough, make no mistake, right? But your body might say, oh, you're not leaving? Okay, cool. We're shutting the system down.
Yeah, I think that's what's been going on.
And a lot of times, especially new couples and again, I say this with all due respect, and if he was on the phone, I would say this to him directly, okay? He can have a quote-unquote addictive personality, or he can have OCD, or he can have ADHD, he can have all these things. He can also be an ass, right?
Yeah.
So you can have all that stuff, great. That's a context. It's not an excuse to be disrespectful to your wife. It's not an excuse to not help create an environment where her body feels safe enough to be sexual. And nitpicking and why not this? Hey man, why are you wearing that? And oh my gosh, you need to lose 5 pounds. All that crap, like that's creating a world that sex becomes. It's a place that sex and intimacy can't inhabit because the world is so toxic. And here's what often happens: you become his mom. You start taking over responsibility for making sure he feels okay. And it's really hard to want to have sex with your kids.
Yeah. I think for me, it's actually more the other way of like, it'd be like having sex with my dad, because I spent most of my childhood kind of, again, playing into making sure that my dad stays calm or quiet or whatever. And I think this feels very similar.
Okay.
And so instead of like necessarily your kid, it feels more like it's very similar to my childhood.
Gotcha. Okay, there we go. So, here's your path forward. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you can you be real honest with me?
Sure.
Is he abusive?
No.
Emotionally?
I don't let him be emotionally abusive.
That sounds really tough and cool, and I appreciate you flexing. Is he emotionally abusive?
I don't know. I really don't know if I can answer that. Like,
sometimes? Let me put
I'm struggling to say yes because I don't really want to say yes.
There you go.
Because I don't know if I could. I don't want to say yes.
Okay. I will leave you to deal with your reality, but you know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You also know that guys can wrap themselves up and I'm a good guy, and they can be hyper abusive without ever saying a word. Their presence can hover around a home like a grizzly bear. And when you ask them, dude, what's wrong? Why are you always asking when I'm wrong? You're like driving me crazy because you're always nitpicking me. I'm just sitting here watching TV. Bull crap, dude. That whole thing was a flex, just as much as if someone was yelling and screaming and smashing glasses up against the wall. It's just a slow nuclear reactor burn.
Mm-hmm.
And if you grew up with that in your home, your body knows you better disappear, kid. Right?
Yeah, it puts a like peacemaking filter on, because that's what I did as a child. I was the peacemaker of the household.
Right.
And so then that becomes the priority of how do we end the conflict. And I will say I am sometimes equally as guilty as being explosive.
Sure.
But it takes me, I think, a lot longer to get there than it does. And he's not explosive and angry. It's just the criticism is never ending.
Right. So here's what y'all are in desperate need of. Number one, before today's over, I want you to make a doctor's appointment to go get all of your hormone levels checked. Okay. It's going to cost money. It's going to be a pain in the butt. Go get it done. Okay. Even if nothing else, you're 25. It'd be a great baseline to have as you get older. Okay. Second thing is you all need to call a marriage counselor today. And if he won't go, tell him we have to learn how to communicate because I'm not safe in this marriage anymore. My body's shutting itself down and I've got to find a different way to live. I want you to come with me. And when you go to counseling, you are going to have to risk him getting up and walking out with your honesty by saying things like, I'm not safe with you here, or you've got to stop criticizing me because I can't stand before you with no clothes on and say, do you love me? If you're always criticizing me and blaming me, I can't do that. He's got to hear that from you. And it sounds like he is not safe enough or where that would be a smart conversation for you to have by yourself. So you need to go get a counselor and have that conversation. But what I'm telling you overall is you need to take drastic action. And again, we could talk about asexual and people who just have no sex drive. That's a whole other conversation. The last thing I want you to do, get Emily Nagoski's book, Come As You Are. Order it on Amazon today. And I want y'all to read it together. Emily Nagoski's Come As You Are. Read it together. And it will be awkward for y'all to read together. I get it. But it will give you all a new language and a new way to have this conversation about how do we create a world where my body feels safe enough that sex becomes exciting and fun. And what role are you, husband, going to play in helping me co-create that context, that world, that environment, that ecosystem? Go get that book today. Have it sent to your house and y'all read it together. Thank you so much for your trust. And man, we will be rooting you on. Anytime you want to call, give me a shout. We'll be here.
What does your current morning routine look like? Man, people love the morning routine question over and over and over. So if you remember back to the early days, my morning routine was like this, minute by minute. It was super regimented and had all these different components to it. And I would explain it to people and they would look at me like I was insane. Yeah, I was. But it had some very specific components to it. And then you do this for 5 minutes and go do this for 3 minutes. And it was about an hour and a half long. And it was just a lot. And then work got busy. I started traveling all over the country and I was trying to take this extensive, elaborate morning routine with me. And then my kids are getting older and I'm married, all these things, right? And then we moved out into the woods and I got to deal with the chickens in the morning. All this stuff just happens. So here, and this is me being honest, and hopefully this gives you some peace about your own life. In many ways, I collapsed in on it. I got so busy being on the road, writing the book, getting it out, flying back so we could record shows and then hitting the road again, doing a lot of things all at the same time. And I folded in on myself. I'd sleep in an extra 30 minutes or an extra 45 minutes, or I would cheat on my workout a little bit, or I would skip this or not. So anyway, man, I got real mortal this year. I told somebody about May, I found my limit. And it's always good to find your limit when you're maxing out or you're doing an all-out sprint or you've done something stupid in your marriage or your partner has and you find the balance there. I did. So my current morning routine looks like this. Oh, by the way, I learn new stuff. I learn new things. I'm kind of annoying because I'm always trying to read and figure out new things and get new information. So here's where it is. Number one, here's the things that do not, under any circumstance, I don't budge on these. Number one is getting sunlight in the morning. And this comes from Andrew Huberman's work out of Stanford. If you don't listen to his podcast, you should. It's so good. It's long and it's in depth. And he is a neuroscience professor at Stanford in the medical school. Brilliant guy. A lot of fun. But if you're into deep dives, like how the neurological structures work and how the hormones and molecular structures and dopamine all works together, that's a great place to go. But he's put out some great work about the importance of sunlight. Your night's sleep starts in the morning. And so I don't ever budge on that. The second one is working out. movement. I still lift a lot. I've gotten into running a little bit more. And the big shift I've made is rucking, RUCKING. Because of James, the great James, I got a Go Ruck backpack, which I love. They're not a sponsor. I don't get any money off that. It's just the best there is. There's the top of the top of the top. It's expensive and it's worth every penny. And put weights in it and then head off. And so this week I've done an hour ruck one morning and then did a weight workout. And then this morning I did a long ruck. So it's a great zone 2 workout. The big things that comes to workout is this. Number 1, zone 2, which is new. I've added that in the past year because of Peter Attia's work. Ultimately, letting my mitochondria rebuild, letting my body rest, and at the same time move. So it's a workout. Basically, zone 2 is this: you're going, and you can still have a full conversation, but you're going, right? So you're getting after it pretty good, but you can still talk. I haven't figured out how to do that on running, but I can do it on a bike. I can do it rucking, which is a really fast-paced walk with weights on your back, basically. So I have to have some movement in the morning. Sometimes I get 15 minutes and that's it. Sometimes I get 30 minutes. Usually it's 45 minutes to an hour of something. Breakfast, I don't fast anymore, or I do it very, very infrequently. The data on fasting has come back, and we can talk about that in another show, but I eat breakfast every day now, which has been great for my energy levels and my workout levels and all that. I do work out fasted, but not for any reason. Time with my kids and my wife. I've become much more, we may do a whole show on this one day. I've become obsessive about time because it's a finite resource. I can't get any of it back. And I can make all the money in the world and sell all the books in the world and be a number 1 best-selling it, but the time still keeps ticking. It's just tick, 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 tick. And so it's worth it to not go do some weird aerobic yoga exercise on top of my weight workout in the front yard where I'm rolling around and singing songs and chanting. I'd rather, this morning I played Candyland with my daughter. And by the way, I destroyed her 2 games in a row. She needs to learn not to step to this, but I crushed her in Candyland. But I spent some time together and it was fun. We laughed, talked some crap. So that was cool. I'm trying to accomplish one thing in the morning, work related. And we can talk about this later. When it comes to social media, man. I'm trying to do one work thing. Just get out of the way. And sometimes that's 5 minutes, sometimes it's 30 minutes, sometimes it's review an article, knock out a blog, whatever it is. I'm trying to do one thing in the morning. I've not been keeping up with my cold tub. It's been about 7 or 8, maybe 9 months now. Most of that's just because I've gotten busy and I'm doing that time with other things. I still take cold showers every day just because they feel better. But let's talk about it. I've become a full-blown addict, 100% addict. I don't say this with pride, to my phone. An addict. And I've got my social media on one phone and I have my life on another phone. And so I've had to start turning my phone off and leaving it places because I simply can't control it. And I wish I could do something different. Be like, I just can't. I, over the last 5 or 6 months, have started finding myself in the middle of really remarkable events, whether I'm at a concert, I'm hanging out with my wife, I'm doing something with my kids. And I think this would be a really great post for Instagram. And what that does is takes me out of the moment with my kids. And it takes me out of my moment with my wife, or I've stopped focusing on the concert and having a good time. And I start thinking about how I'm going to get some sort of fake virtue signal. Look where I was. Look who I was with. Look how cool I am because I am fill in the blank. Look how whatever. And I got to stop. And so it was about a week ago. I went out of town and I forgot it. I left it at home. And it was incredible because I was fully present. And so I've actually invited my wife in to help me with this, but to create some really remarkable boundaries. We're leaving town for a week. Probably not going to take it with me. And I just got to create some space. Full-blown addict. I can't stop. I sit at home and just scroll and type and want to respond and do this. And I talk about it all the time, and it got me. And so I've got to create some robust structures to back out of that. So all I'd say about my morning routine, no more phones before I get to work. And usually I'm leaving my social media phone here at work. If I was you and I don't have 2 phones, I would delete it. Just delete it. Get rid of it. Gratitude journal is a thing I do all the time. And then I've added some reading in the mornings. Sometimes if I don't have a work assignment I can crank out, then I'll usually do some reading. So that's my morning. It takes about an hour and a half. to get up in the morning and get going and get cranking. What are my, is that good? What's your morning routine, Kelly? Four Marlboro Reds, black coffee. I ride the horse, lay some bricks on the road I'm building, and then I come to work.
It's close to that. It's very close.
Very close.
Very close. Now, I try to get up, and I usually do some Bible reading in my prayer time in the morning.
You would. Jeez Louise. You had to go there, didn't you?
Well, you asked. And then it's usually run around. I've got teenagers at home. It's summer right now, so luckily it's they're not even awake before I leave. But during the school year, it's getting them up and ready and moving, and then... Remember Three Amigos? Yes.
When he's like, what would you do with whatever, $1 million? And he's like, I'd buy all the cars and whatever, and I'd buy all this. And that one guy's like, I'd build an orphanage and to help underprivileged children. And they're like, oh yeah, we do that too. So way to go, Kelly. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, my morning routine is going to shift to just some quiet time. Me and the Bible and my journal. And then
No, I don't journal.
Oh, you don't?
No.
You don't want to know what's going on in there.
No. I try really hard to shove it all down. I don't want to write about it.
I see every once in a while on the show, it's starting to make its way out. And you're like, nope. All right, there we go. Morning routine. There we go.
Let's go out to Tampa, Florida, and talk to Emily. What's up, Emily?
Hi, Dr. John. I'm doing well.
Awesome. What's happening? What's up?
Yeah, so my question is, how do I begin to enjoy my life outside of work, essentially?
Usually that has to do with a life outside of work that you don't enjoy.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. So some context, I'm a teacher and I work, probably at least 60 hours a week doing that. And then I do some volunteer work, and then I'm getting my education, master's degree. And so I'm just kind of always on the go. And then when I get home, I'm married, and, I do have a happy marriage. Of course, it has its ups and downs. But when I get home, I don't intend to feel this way, but I kind of just feel a sense of just bleh. Like I feel kind of hopeless, and I don't enjoy anything. And it's not that I am looking to go back to work, but when I'm at work, I don't feel that way, essentially.
Does it have to do with the fact that when you go to work as a teacher, which is what I've spent my whole career doing that, there's always going to be outliers, right? There's outliers in every job. There's goofballs in every job. But on the whole, you go to work with a group of people who have a shared sense of purpose. We're going to change the lives of these kids. Sometimes it's we're going to provide these kids a safe place to go. Sometimes it's we're going to teach these kids and push them really hard because we think they're capable of more than they are. But you have a shared sense of optimism, and we're going to take X and we're going to walk alongside people until it becomes Y. And then you go home and you don't share that same sense of, I've got a partner in here, we're working on a thing together, and we're creating something amazing. And we're creating, like, it's X and we're creating Y. And so you get home and you just go, bleh. Am I right or wrong? I could be wrong.
You're completely right. That's not something I had ever thought about. My husband, right now he's actually not working at all. But
why?
I've been thinking about it a lot this month. At first, I was very frustrated with him because I felt like he wasn't driven, right? He wasn't interested in working. But I've realized now I think he's actually struggling from some kind of depression. Because even applying for jobs was very difficult for him, and I kind of took the lead on that. And now that he's gotten offered interviews, he's gotten a little bit more driven about it. So I think there's something mentally going on there. I'm
going to say this, and I mean it with all due respect in my soul, and I'm trying to be kind and loving. I don't care. He's got to get a job.
Yeah.
The damning nature of low-level dysthymia that, this sucks. I got fired or I got laid off or whatever. Did he quit or did he get fired? What happened?
He did quit. He was kind of miserable in his last job, so
Okay.
he did quit.
So
Yeah.
there's just, you sit at home and you wait for motivation.
Mhm.
You wait for the perfect thing. And it doesn't exist. You have to go manufacture it. And you manufacture it by go get a job.
Yeah.
And you don't quit a job unless you have another job. I don't care how miserable it is. You even if it's, hey, I'm quitting this 6-figure job and I got a job stacking groceries because I got to do something to contribute, both for my psychology and my physiology and for we got to have money in this account. But it becomes this spiral that's really hard to get out of. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. The alternative, I mean, the fantasy on the other side of that is my life will be so much better with not this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get home and blech. And then it's, well, we'll only be good if, it will only be good if, and I'm not good enough. And it turns into this just poison.
Yeah.
And here's what happens. You lose respect for your husband. Fair?
Yeah.
Just say it out loud. Yes. And I know that's hard to say out loud because I know you love him. And I know he's a great guy. I'm not saying he's not a good guy. Okay.
Right.
But it's hard to be optimistic. It's hard to build something. It's hard to have hope. And hope is just this idea that tomorrow's going to be a little bit better than today. Or maybe a lot better than today. And it's hard to have hope when you don't have respect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And for a while, I get home and I feel like my husband, he's on his phone a lot, even whenever he's off of work. And that just really frustrates me. And so I think you're correct in that,
Don't apologize for your frustration, Emily.
Yeah.
You should be frustrated. I'm frustrated for you.
Yeah.
If he called my show and said, my wife is really frustrated with me and I don't think it's fair. I quit my job because I just hated it. And now I sit at home waiting for the right thing. I would have a hard time being compassionate to him.
Yeah.
And I would tell him, go find a job today. Any kind of job. That's going to be the step forward to getting some sense in your body that you start standing on your own 2 feet again after being lost at sea.
Yeah. Well, something I've learned in the last 5 years of marriage is I can't make him. So what is your advice? How do I help him?
I think there's a couple. You're exactly right. And the fact that you learned this in the first 5 years means you are way ahead of most marriages, which is awesome. It took me like 20 years to figure that out. All right, here's a couple of things. One, I want you to spend some time being very honest with Emily. And right now, you have spent a lot of time being a mother to your husband. And when you're a mom to your husband, I'm going to say this. I know it sounds gross. I've gotten some flack in the past, but I don't care. It's true. No mom wants to have sex with their son.
Mm-hmm.
No mom wants to have intimate relations with their son outside of sex.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't want to come home and have a third job or a fourth job after grad school and your service to your community and your never-ending teaching job.
Mm-hmm.
And your fourth job is caring for this giant infant adult. And I'll go one step further. If he does have some significant depressive issues, those are real.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this isn't the moment for him to get a job. This is the moment that he gets his butt into care.
Yeah.
Just sitting at home on your phone is a no-go. And so I want you to be honest for the first time in a long time. I want you to write down in a notebook, I've lost respect for my husband because I saw him face adversity and I saw him bow out. Because your body feels that. You got to be honest with yourself, okay? And I think you have to stop apologizing for being frustrated and stop apologizing for feeling burnt out. You know what burnout is? It's when your body says, I quit, because you're not getting the message. You're trying to carry the load of 2 people at your home and trying to create a home with a guy who has no interest in creating a home.
Yeah.
Right? That's a hard stuff. And The second step here is after you're honest with yourself and you write some of these things down, and you're probably going to shock yourself with what you write down. Because it's going to be hard. The next step is not to go bomb him with these things. That's not fair to anybody, okay? What is fair is you sitting at the table and saying the following. Here are the boundaries I'm drawing. Here's what I'm going to do moving forward. I am going to go see a counselor because I have a husband that refuses to get work. I am going to fill in the blank. If I come home and you have not applied for a single job today and you've sat here on your phone, I am going to take myself out to dinner. See what I'm saying? This is not bombing him with, you need to do this, you need to do this, because that hasn't worked. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's you being very clear about here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to continue to work hard. I'm going to begin to eat a little healthier. I'm not going to wallow around and be mad at you and then be mad at myself for being mad at you. And that spiral, you know that spiral I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I live that all the time. All right. I threw a lot at you. Tell me what you're feeling on the way back.
Yeah, I think I'm feeling, I don't know. I feel like I'm a little worried that nothing's going to change.
Okay, but nothing's changing.
Yeah. And as you're mentioning, I think these are great steps just to take care of me because that's really all I can do. I know that. And hopefully he'll get the message. But yeah, we've had conversations before where, I talk with him and we kind of go over plans that we had when we first got married. And then by the end of it, I feel like we're in agreement. And then, 6 months down the road, I look back and nothing's changed.
Well, and have you sat down and said, I feel like you have not been honest with me. I feel unloved in this home. What do you mean? I love you and I always want to have sex with you when I've had 4 beers. What do you mean? And you can say, because we made some agreements. And you've chosen to not uphold your end of those agreements, which leaves me all alone.
Yeah.
And those are scary conversations because here's why. He might say, well, screw you, then I'm out. But right now he said, screw you, I'm in. Fair?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I guess the hardest thing for you is you don't have an easy path forward.
Yeah.
You have I'm going to say nothing and just continue this thing on and hope he gets a job and hope it solves all his problems. It will not, Emily. Within 6 months, he's going to tell you he hates this job and it's killing him and the boss is an idiot and his coworkers are morons and he's going to quit. I'm telling you right now. Or you can have a really hard series of conversations, not about what he needs to fix, but about what you're going to do.
What do I do in the case that because sometimes he'll get really frustrated and say, all these things that I do for you, I thought, you loved me. Are you telling me that X, Y, and Z doesn't mean anything to you? Like he can get kind of defensive like that. What would you recommend I do?
That's how children respond, right? Which is like, well, then I'm taking my ball and going home. Here's what you can say. You can say, I hear that you have chosen to try to love me in ways that you like, that you have chosen. I'm telling you what I need to feel loved in this home, in this marriage. Oh, so if I just make dinner for you? I never asked you to make dinner. That's a choice you made. I did ask you to get a job. I did ask you if you're not working and you're just sitting here, that when we get home, the house is cleaned up and you're not just sitting there on your phone, playing video games. Right? Because that's just all that is a look over here. Look over here, look over here, look over here. It's just a distraction. And here's, guys do it a lot. Women do it too. But guys do it a lot with, oh, I'm working all day. It was when my wife told me, I'm not asking you to do that.
Yeah.
I'm asking you to be here with me. Because I had the opposite problem. I was working 24 hours a day, 365. It was the opposite issue. And when I would come at her with what your husband does, just the opposite. Oh, I do this and this and this. And she's like, dude, I never asked for any of that. I asked for you. And then I was like, oh crap, I don't know how to do that. And then it was me, because I said I had to go figure out that set of skills, and I had to go learn it and figure it out. Similarly, on the other side, oh, I do this and this and this. That's not what I asked. I asked that we build something together, and you said I do, and you said I'm in, and you're not. So here's what I'm going to do. But if somebody throws those little temper tantrumy things, oh, you're just ungrateful. No, I'm talking about. It's just distraction. Just distraction. And you may have to walk away from the table and say, hey, I'm going to come back to this conversation. I'm going to come back in 30 minutes because right now you're talking to me as though I'm 7 and I'm not. I'm going to come back in 30 minutes. Let's reconvene. It's hard. I don't envy you. But to your husband, if he's listening, you have to get a job. You got to go work. And if you can't work, I know those people. I've sat with them. Fine. You got to go get help. You got to go see somebody. You got to go check yourself into an inpatient clinic. You have to do the work. Just sitting at home on your phone is not a solution, particularly while your wife is working 60 hours a week, plus grad school, plus serving the community. Enough. Be somebody worthy of being respected in your own home. Sure, quit a toxic job. I've had to do it. You've had to do it. Fine. But don't quit that job for nothing. For a couple of months on the couch with a cell phone. No. Quit that job and go work at a coffee shop. Quit that job and start driving Uber that night. Quit that job and go sling boxes at Walmart on the overnight shift for $25 an hour tonight. And then apply for jobs when you're not sleeping. You can't think your way out of these things on a couch with a cell phone. Look around at our culture. We're drowning in, I'm just going to think my way out of this on a couch with a cell phone. You have to go do. Emily, thanks for the call. Call anytime. I have a feeling these conversations get harder before they get better. I want you to be honest with yourself. You only have 2 hard choices moving forward. Hard to let things just be the same way they are and continually not respect this man-child that you're married to, or decide, I'm Emily and I'm worth more than this. I'm worth being loved. I'm worth a home and a marriage that I can fight for, that I love. I'm going to have that hard conversation. Either way, your path forward is hard. I say take the one that's going to result in the possibility of healing and change. What's up, Cassie?
Hey, Dr. John.
What's up?
How are you?
I'm all right.
Awesome. I'm a little bit nervous, so I wrote everything down. If you don't mind, I'm just going to read what I've got.
Let it rip.
All right. About 2 months ago, my home was broken into.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I was lucky, though. I wasn't home, and thankfully my security system notified the police, and, aside from them ransacking my house, I mean, everything is okay, right? Nobody got hurt.
Hey, Cassie.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to stop doing that.
What's that?
Man. Having somebody break into your home is one of the top few most devastating personal invasions.
Yeah.
Sexual assault is one. Someone breaking into your home is another. It's different. It's distant. It's a distant second to sexual assault, but it's devastating. And you have to stop qualifying that sense of loss and that sense of panic with, but it could have been worse. It's okay. It could have been worse. You just got to sit in it for a minute, okay?
That's fair.
Let your body metabolize it, because that's the only path to healing. Can you even walk in your front door?
Not calmly. There's a lot of anxiety and a lot of lack of sleep.
Yeah.
And I guess that brings me to the question, I don't know how to feel safe in my home again.
Cassie, your body is working perfectly. Do you hear me say that? You're not crazy?
I don't know. I feel it. I feel crazy.
You're
and
not.
I feel like I'm being paranoid and I'm taking all these precautions to try to get safe or feel safe, and it's not working.
Because you're working around the core issue. And the core issue is there's a before and after in Cassie's life. As my buddy John told me one time, locks keep your neighbors out. If somebody wants in your house, they'll get into your house. And that was after my apartment got broken into. And I had to metabolize the fact that somebody can come into my house. And I didn't have a psychology for that. I assumed that when I locked the door, I was safe inside of that place. And that was an illusion. And once I spent some time in grief and then asked myself, okay, what is going to make me feel safe, reasonably safe? Not ironclad safe, because ironclad safe doesn't exist anymore. There's a before and after. I thought it did. It doesn't. Whew, that's not what I hoped for, but here we are.
Yeah.
And I checked the locks 3 or 4 times a night. It doesn't help that I was an OCD kid anyway, but I check the locks a bunch now. And I've got some other personal precautions. And now I can't stay awake past like 9 o'clock. I just fall asleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you tried walking in the front door and when you feel seized up, laughing and saying, thank God you're working right, body?
No.
Or have
tried.
you started getting anxious about going home because you're worried that your body's going to get anxious when you go inside your own house?
Yeah, that happens.
Yes. And that turns into full-blown panic probably?
Yeah, it has recently. I actually left my house and went to like my condo in Florida to try to get away from it all.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel safe here, but every time I think about going home, I just get all panicked and really anxious, and my family doesn't get it. And I don't know who to talk to about it. And I went and saw a therapist, and her suggestion was to keep it out of my mind.
God almighty, that's a terrible, terrible. All right. Good gosh. Oh, I'm going to have a job forever. Forever. Hey, team, I'm looking at the people in the studio. We're going to be employed forever because there are some god-awful therapists out there. Jeez Louise. All right. Here's a basic primer on how your brain works, okay?
Okay.
Your body identifies a threat out in the world. It could be real. It could be imagined. It could be a memory of something that happened that it just puts a GPS pin in your nervous system and it keeps sounding the alarms every time it senses it somewhere, okay? Doesn't matter if it's real or not. It just identifies a threat.
Yeah.
Here's what's amazing about your body. It only wants one thing, and that's for you to not die. It doesn't care if you're happy. It doesn't care if you're lonely. It doesn't care if you're miserable. It just wants you to not die. Yeah. And so it sounds every alarm you got. And if you avoid the thing that it thinks is going to kill you, whether it's a relationship, if you have social anxiety issues, whether it's a romantic issue, whether it's somebody breaking into your house again and doesn't want you there. If you avoid it, your body goes, that's how we stay safe. And it reinforces it and makes it stronger. And so every time you avoid your home, your body gets exactly what it wants, which is you didn't die. And it thinks that's why. And so the next time you think about your house, it's going to be a little bit stronger. And the next time you pack up and run away from your home and go to Florida, your body really got what it wanted, so it's going to reinforce that pathway. So the therapist idea was the stupidest thing possible. Because by putting it out of your mind, it just makes it stronger.
Yeah. That's how it feels because I'm terrified to get on the flight back to my reality.
Correct. The only path is directly through it. And I know that's the worst thing I could tell you. And hey, I also want to honor the fact that now you got two people telling you radically different things. I will say, just from a data perspective, did their idea work?
No.
All right, try mine. Just try mine. You can do one of two things, okay? Or three things. You have three paths forward, okay? Path number one, you can sell the house. You can sell it.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's not a bad option. If that helps you sleep, sell it. Number two, you can be very specific about what you think will make you safe in this home. And then you will practice over a series of months feeling scared, feeling nervous, and staying anyway. Under reasonable amounts of safety, right?
Yeah.
And that might be getting an alarm system. That might be having a friend walk with you. That might be you checking the locks. That might be you going to a CHL class and watching a lot of John Wick movies. I don't know. Or learning karate. I don't know what the thing is. But you have to decide what those things are. And then you're going to make a commitment to doing those things.
Yeah.
The third option is to do what that other goofball told you to do, which is just put it out of your mind and just plug along. And then run to Florida whenever it gets real heavy.
Yeah.
And that will be a recipe. That's like taking gasoline and dumping it on a fire.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I did under the assumption that I was listening to someone who knew what they were talking about.
I know.
You know,
I'm sure they were well-intentioned. They just told you the wrong information.
Yeah, and I've done some of the other things, you know, like I mean, I wasn't like a stupid person just sitting around waiting to get broken into. I have the security system. I have those locks on my door. I have cameras. I have a gun. But I just feel constantly jumpy and paranoid. I'm checking the cameras all the time. Every little noise makes me jump.
Okay.
It's hard.
I know, but it's on a framework that there's something wrong with you. And there's not. Okay? You had a core violation. And so when there's a noise, I want you to literally feel it. Put your hand on your chest and say, my body's working perfectly. Let's go check that out.
Okay.
I want you to make I will only check the cameras this many times a day.
Okay.
I'm going to check them.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to turn it into an addiction, a way to numb the reality that, man, somebody can break into my house if they want to again. And can I ask a crazy question?
Yeah.
Did it all work?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it all worked, right? The police came.
It all worked.
And yeah, I wasn't home and I got the notification. It all worked. It just...
And you've also made up a story that if you had been home, they would have come in and killed you.
Yeah, I played the if game in my head a lot.
The other story, which is more plausible, statistically speaking, is they busted into the house, you scream, and they run away.
Yeah.
That's also equally plausible. And because your body has one job and that's try to keep you alive, it's made up the story that the worst thing could have happened. And that's the one that just resonates in your guts because that's the most dramatic interpretation of what could have happened. And that's the story that's most likely to keep you most alive. But statistically speaking, you scream, they run away. I was recently watching an interview with somebody about crime, and they said most people just need to lock their doors and lock their cars because people will just go to the path of least resistance. Now, that didn't work in your situation. They still broke in, but the alarm worked and the police showed up. And so it's backing up and going, I hate that someone picked my house. and had all these steps in place and everything worked. Whew, could have gone real bad, but this time it didn't. So body, thank you for trying to keep me safe. I'm sleeping here tonight, and I am going to lock the door, and I'm going to look at the camera, and my body may pop awake at 2 a.m. Cool, it's just extra vigilant, extra alert. That's okay. But at the end of 5 days in a row, I'm going to write down in a gratitude journal, it's been 5 days. And my body's working great, still trying to keep me safe. And my home, safe. And I'm going to continue to come back to the well and come back to the well and come back to the well. And this is going to sound stupid, and I know I'm always telling people to write letters. I want you to write a letter to your alarm system. Doesn't have to be long. I want you to write a letter to your home. Dear home, I'd put a lot of stuff on you as though you were gonna be able to protect me from everything. You can't. And I'm sorry I put all that on you. Whew. Write a letter to the alarm system, to the police officers, and say thank you. Maybe you make some cookies or go buy some cupcakes, take them over to the police station and say, hey, you guys showed up. Thank y'all. I'm grateful. Be proactive and go walk into. And at some point, you may need to have some sort of gathering at your house. It's a reclamation. This is my home. Play Tom Petty's I Won't Back Down on repeat. But this is my home. And I'm drawing this line. This is where I live. And one time people tried to break in, but every system worked perfectly, and I'm still here. I'm still safe, and we're going from there. Or Cassie, you just sell it. But the first option sounds more like William Wallace. It sounds more hardcore and tough. But I think it's feeling the discomfort, feeling the anxiousness, knowing panic can't kill you. Anxiousness won't kill you. It's just your body sounding the alarm saying, hey, whoa, I don't think we're safe. Put your hand on your chest. Yeah, I feel that. Pretty sure that was just the dog or just the drawer, just something adjusted in the dishwasher. We'll go check it out. Pretty sure we're good. Thank you so much for the call, Cassie. Your body's working perfectly. Hang on the line. I'm going to send you a copy of Building a Non-Anxious Life. Check that out. Won't directly help with your particular anxiety, but I do think globally speaking, it'll be good.